It looked quiet as I first drove onto the gravel drive, not the kind of quiet that made me feel relaxed but the kind that weighed on me like the air became thick as soon as I stepped out of the car. The building was at the end of a narrow road about 40 kilometers out of town. I chose this place for the peace and solitude. I had a big project that needed my full attention and I wanted to get away from my usual surroundings. The small inn with old wooden panels outside and an old sign that creaked when the wind blew. At first glance it seemed cozy enough. I expected quiet nights and plenty of time to work, but I got something completely different. I remember dragging my suitcase inside and smelling something like damp wood in the lobby. The place had a rustic feel. The walls were covered with old photos from different periods of its history. Some showed fresh paint, others had scaffolding in the background and a photo of another owner standing in front of a newly built wing. The current owner is a tall thin man with tired eyes who greets me at the reception. He asks for my details and gives me a room key and says the building has been through many renovations and many owners. He laughs as if it is a small matter but his eyes keep looking towards the hallway. I get the feeling he wants to leave something in the hallway. The musty smell is like dust. Cloth and floor polish. My room is the second door on the left. The door creaks when I open it. The space is monotonous. A single bed, a small table, a chair and a narrow wardrobe. The walls are peeling paint and the floor creaks when I walk over to put my bag down. Everything is old but usable. The bathroom is cramped with a simple sink, a small shower and a toilet that looks like it has seen better days, but still enough for my needs. I sat on the edge of the bed, checked the mattress and felt the springs push back. The mattress was uncomfortable but I figured it would be fine for a few nights. I opened my suitcase and some notebooks. I planned to start working right away. The Wi-Fi signal was weak so I plugged in the Ethernet cable I brought with me. I sat down on the old wooden chair near the desk. My mind was focused on the data project. I had to analyze the charts I had to prepare. I tried not to think about the stench coming from the hallway or the faint sound of someone moving in the distance. After about an hour, my neck was starting to stiffen so I decided to stretch my legs and check out the rest of the inn. I walked down the hallway and noticed the floor shaking beneath me. They made a deep groaning noise every time I walked. The walls had a few old landscape paintings and cheap frames. One of them was leaning slightly to the right but I decided not to touch it. I found the kitchen at the end of the hallway after the lobby where a young woman stood behind the counter. She was wearing a polo shirt and simple jeans. She smiled quickly and asked if I needed anything. I asked about dinner options and she said that the inn usually serves basic meals around 7. When I asked about the place history she looked away as if she was trying to avoid the subject. I brushed it off and told her I would be back later. At dinner time I went back to the dining area. There were 3 small wooden tables with a few others. Guests were sitting eating but no one wanted to talk. They bowed their heads concentrating on their plates. The meal consisted of beans, rice and some grilled chicken. It tasted good although the room seemed heavier than before. I could hear the wind blowing outside and the old sign swayed back and forth with a faint clanging sound. After I finished eating I carried my plate to a small bin near the sink. As I walked back to my room I felt the temperature drop. My arms got goosebumps. I told myself it was just the cold of the night. The COR hallway was dim and I could barely see the doors in front of me. Back in my room I lock the door and get ready for bed. The lock clicks and I pull the door knob a few times to make sure. Then I hear a noise outside like footsteps on wood. I stay quietly listening to the footsteps seem to stop near my door then walk away. I rush over and look through the peephole. No one is there. My heart is pounding in my chest. I think maybe another guest has passed or maybe the landlord. I try to ignore it. I set the alarm on my phone and climb into the spring bed. It creaks under my weight. That night I wake up to the sound of running water. It comes from the bathroom. I push myself up, rubbing my eyes and turning on the night light. I can hear the tap running. I get out of bed across the cold floor and into the bathroom. The sink faucet is turned all the way on. Water is spilling around the drain, splashing on both sides of the sink. I stand there trying to remember if I left the tap on. I am sure I didn't give it a go.